Have you ever felt unworthy? As if there was just no possible way you could be good enough for something, whether it's for a relationship or for your job, or a job that you thought maybe you could do, but just maybe don't have the right skills or qualities, or just not good enough. Or maybe it's with God, where you felt like, I don't deserve to be in His presence. I don't deserve to have His grace. I don't deserve to have His kindness. I don't even deserve for Him to send His Son for me, so I don't even know why He did that. There's plenty of times in Scripture where people felt unworthy, and it was actually sometimes when God was literally calling them into gospel ministry. One specific example that stands out in my mind is with Moses. Moses, who grew up in a place that he didn't even belong, first of all, because he grew up in the Pharaoh's own household, as Pharaoh's daughter took care of him. After all of the boys in his community were sentenced to death, basically under the age of 2 years old. But God had a plan for him, and He saved him from the river. He saved him and gave him a place to live and to grow and be educated, yet he still knew who he was. He knew he was an Israelite. He knew he was a Hebrew, and that he truly didn't belong in the palace with Pharaoh, and he was never going to grow up to be Pharaoh. He knew he was unworthy. Well, one day he proved his unworthiness by actually killing a man. He fled into the desert and found a safe haven, a place of refuge. And it was while he was there tending the sheep of his father-in-law that he saw an anomaly. He saw this bush that was on fire but didn't burn up. First of all, it's a wild enough sight seeing a bush on fire. I mean, yes, it's the middle of the desert, a wilderness, but things don't just normally sit on fire for that long. And when you could see this fire, he knew there was something unique about it. The bush was not turning to ash. So he went to investigate and check it out. As he gets there, he hears a voice, the voice of God calling to him from the bush. And the voice said, "Moses, Moses." And Moses said, "Here I am." And God continues to tell him who He is and what He's done. And He says, "Moses, I have seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I'm concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them up out of that land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey." So He says to Moses, "Go. I'm sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people up out of Egypt." And Moses says, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?" A fair question. Before I tell you how God responded, later on in this section, Moses is still trying to make excuses as to why he shouldn't really be the one to do this. He says, "What if they go there and I tell them and they don't believe me?" And God says, "Well, here's a staff. You throw it on the ground, it's going to turn into a snake." Or He says, "Put your hand inside your cloak, and when you pull it out, it'll have leprosy. When you put it back in and pull it out again." You know, these signs and wonders that are proof that it is in fact God that sent him. And he still makes an excuse and says, "Okay, well, forgive me, God, for continuing to go on with this, but I've never been good at speaking. I'm not worthy of this job." And God says, "Your brother Aaron is already on his way to find you. He will go with you. He will be your voice when you struggle with speech." So what did God originally say when Moses said, "I am unworthy"? It's as simple as this. This is Exodus chapter 3, verse 11. "But Moses said to God, 'Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?' And God said, 'I will be with you.'" It's as simple as that. We are unworthy. We don't deserve God's grace, His love, His kindness, His mercy. We don't deserve Him to have sent His Son to live a perfect life that we could never do and to die a death that we deserve. We don't deserve to be in His presence. We don't deserve to sing Him praises. We don't deserve to lead others in worship to Him. But it's because of that grace, the love that we could never deserve. And because God says, "I will be with you." So when it comes down to it, you may feel unworthy, but it doesn't matter who you are. All that truly matters is whose you are.